Okay. Call to order. Town of North Branford, Water Pollution Control Authority and regular Town Council meeting of North Branford, Connecticut, Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 at about 7:08 p.m. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Michelle, roll call, please.
Sure. Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Zampano.
Here.
Councilor Abelson.
Here.
Councilor Angeloni.
Here.
Councilor Diamond. Here. Councilor Downs.
Here.
Councilor Goad.
Here.
Councilor Mace.
Here.
And Councilor Palicia.
Here.
Okay, I will accept a motion for the minutes of the previous meeting, January 18th, 2022, regular town council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilor Angeloni, seconded by, sorry, who was the second? Oh, seconded by Councilor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
You ever just kind of pass them down, right? Yeah, that was.
All right, Water Pollution Control Authority agenda. Agenda item 3, correspondence citizen statements. None. Agenda item 4, unfinished business. None. Agenda item 5, new business. None. Agenda 6, citizen statements and petitions. Seeing none, we'll move on to the regular town council meeting.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like a motion to add to the agenda for the regular town council meeting under 11A.
Okay.
Appointment of Victoria Alonso to the North Branford Board of Education to replace the unexpired term of Vince Mace.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Diamond, seconded by Councilor Mace. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes.
While we're on that subject of amending the
Sure,
agenda,
please.
I would like to amend the agenda also under item 11 and add 2 items. The first one is item B, the resignation of Cynthia Rice from the Board of Education. And the second one is C, the appointment of Kim Dawson to the Board of Education to fill the vacancy created by Cynthia Rice.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Angeloni, seconded by
Which one? You?
So,
Councilor Downs, sorry.
resignation of Cynthia Rice, and then who was
The appointment of
Kim Dawson.
Kim Dawson to the BOA.
just like it said?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, motion by Councilor Rose, seconded by Councilor Downs. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. Anything else we want to add on? Doing good so far. Okay. Let's move on along here. All right. Agenda item 7, reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Item A, Economic Development Commission, Roger Slaway, monthly report.
The February EDC meeting will take place next Monday, the 7th. But in our packet, there is an update from Roger in here as far as the EDC. You can read that at your leisure.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could also add, just wanted to comment that developer Michael Belfonte invited the staff to tour the Landon Lake property in Cromwell last Friday. And touring the facility as the best example of what he would replicate here and what he's referring to and his proposal as the Pines development. And I think all those, with town planner, engineer, myself, and the mayor, impressed, I think, at least I speak for myself, impressed with the quality and craftsmanship. Very, very well done, and you know, certainly defer to the mayor, but I thought it was, my impressions were it was really well done. And they've only been open just a few months. I think they're at 93% occupancy, so it's...
Yeah, they're at 93% occupancy, actually. It was very impressive. So I'll add to that. I was very impressed with the build-out. Top-notch job, very clean, a lot of amenities. Definitely, you know, it looked like it would offer the folks in this town an opportunity for professionals, young professionals, as well as people that were looking to, empty nesters looking for a nice environment, very clean environment with lots of amenities. It was impressive. So I thank him for allowing us to take that tour, and I look forward to seeing what we do down the line with the pines. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move on to item 7B, Parks and Recreation.
Park and Rec met last Tuesday. Some of the highlights from the director's report is, so their meal distribution for the month of December, they did 263 meals, which was up 99 meals from the month before. So that program, with being back in session and having it there, they definitely, that is helping, and they are serving a lot of meals. They had their special Christmas luncheon. Unfortunately, it got moved to a drive-through rather than having it there. Unfortunately, because of the uptick in COVID, they originally had 120 registered, which is at capacity for them, and they ended up serving, doing 66 drive-throughs because people had to cancel, unfortunately. They, you know, had a booster clinic in December, and another one January 21st, and then they also helped coordinate the distribution of the testing kits on there. Their programs, they're adding more programs as the center is open more now. The lights are being installed at the STW courts, which was part of our capital budget last year, and we had used some funding that we get from the state to pay for that. And if it's not done yet, it should be done very shortly. They did have a contract that came in under bid also there. And some other things that they are looking at, they did paint the gym at STW, which is their gym, lunch area, and everything else. It really looks nice there. They are really doing a lot to spruce up the areas there. And that is about it right
Okay, thank you very much for that report. All right, we've got agenda item 7C, Police Commission.
Police Commission's next meeting is Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Oh, nice.
Great way to spend it.
A loving meeting
That should
with
be
the Police Commission.
Should go over big.
It's great. Deputy Chief, enjoy that. I'm sure your wife will enjoy that as well. Sure, we'll get you some chocolates. Okay?
Because they said they didn't have to take their wives out for dinner that way.
I don't want that on the record.
Oh,
Okay, no.
My husband's a police commissioner.
that can't be spent on this. What time is it?
Strike that record, not that one. Oh, well, okay. Monday, Valentine's Day is always fun. Okay, we'll move on. This way we don't get anyone in trouble here. 7D, Fire Commission.
Mr. Mayor, the next meeting is this Thursday, the 3rd, and I will have a report after that.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, 7E, Board of Education and Town Council Communications Subcommittee.
now. No meeting.
Okay, thank you. 7F, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah, they had a meeting on January 20th with a public hearing for 108 Old Post Road, subdivision of 6 residential lots. They also addressed the site plan for the driveway of the Public Works going out onto Route 22 to make that adjustment. And I asked if I could comment on that, and I did, just add some information, nothing other than that, you know, we had quite a bit of discussion when we were planning on where the police department was and the activity on that roadway, and just brought that up just for food for thought for parking and accessibility. And they chatted a little bit about going back to in-person meetings. Right now they're on Zoom, and again, I asked if I could comment. I said, you know, coming for February 1st, we're going back to in-person meetings, just so they knew where we were at. So other than that, that's about it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. 7G, Finance Subcommittee.
So now that we have all members appointed to the subcommittee, was it confirmed that
Do we
we're
move
going to
it?
do it to the 7th?
I'd like to. I heard from you, and I know that the mayor's good. I don't know about Tom or about.
So there was an email that went out to see if we could switch it to Monday the
Monday.
7th instead of Wednesday the 9th. Are you good with
Monday,
that?
Monday the 7th, I can make it. I can
Five
change my-
5 o'clock?
Thank you, Counselor Mays.
Yeah, great.
5 o'clock, is
5
that-
o'clock.
5
right.
o'clock where?
Yeah.
Here.
All good with you as well?
Yeah, I must have missed the email.
Okay.
I
So
Okay.
we'll move that to the 7th at, we said 5 p.m., correct?
5
Yeah.
is
Okay.
what the email said. So that's, the first subcommittee meeting will be on that day, Monday the 7th.
Okay, thank you very much. 7H, Permanent Project Building Committee, subset NBHS update and NBPD update.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that one.
Thank you.
For the record, I believe they did skip. They're not going to hold a meeting on Valentine's Day, so
They're taking their wives out?
they are.
Okay, good. We have that on record then.
It was a long discussion, long debate
Calling
about
Mrs.
that.
Palumbo, Mr. PDN, yeah, of course, absolutely. Good to know.
Taking the husbands out, too.
Yeah, so
It's true.
I guess I'll take the high school first, even though last night's meeting was essentially about talking with the architect, Bill Silver, on the PD side. There was some discussion for a upcoming Monday meeting on the 7th for a series, a sort of workshop, if you will, to try to tackle the landscaping component piece. And so they're going to special time early time at 5 o'clock on Monday before their regular scheduled meeting, so they can try and deal with that. They got into some discussion. There's been a resident asking about the HVAC or the air filtration system design, and raised some questions and submitting some questions that I've passed on to the committee, but likely there'll be a contingent present at the meeting to ask about that. So the design team, architectural team will be here, the engineer will be here to address those issues. But overall, obviously the crane is on site, the steel is going up. Obviously the cold weather and storm obviously puts a damper on things, but overall, the project is moving ahead, and I think the other piece they had a conversation about and dialogue about was having a discussion about getting on the same page with respect to the financials. And obviously, Mayor, you were here for a portion of that meeting last night, and it's important that we understand the process by which we get reimbursement and the timing of that. So I reached out to the superintendent and the Board of Ed side. I think it's important, and the committee felt it's important to have a representative from the business side here, along with Anthony, and the representative as our clerk of the works, Marnie, to all be present to discuss and understand that what the process is going forward. So that, in a nutshell, is the high school project. And then there was quite a bit of discussion for the PD project. And, at this point, there was a question about the energy source. So that took up quite a bit of time, talking about going to propane, the original design for oil. It had been back and forth, but and I think in in the time frame, it was the committee before the Permanent Project Building Committee. So that's where it just kind of left at, okay, they evaluated propane, I didn't think have a full understanding, and just said, okay, we'll go with oil. This particular membership on the permanent project felt that it needed additional review, and I think they've come to the conclusion that propane would be best for this project in terms of the energy efficiency. So a lot of discussion about that, a lot of discussion about the site and site work and moving earth and retaining wall, and trying to save additional funds in the project for that. But that the architect has several ad alternates that he's got to put together, and the goal for the architect is to get back in 2 to 3 weeks with the final design, so that this package can be put out for bid for March.
Good.
That's the goal. If not, I mean,
Did they
I don't
indicate-
think they can do it any sooner, but March would be the latest they'd want it to go out.
Did they indicate once the package is out, how long until shovels meet dirt?
Good question. I don't know, because you want to give it an adequate amount of time for, and hopefully, from a timing standpoint, there's a good, healthy response basically on a GC type project. So, but good question. I'll try to get an answer for you next meeting.
Mike, just out of curiosity, if they're looking at propane for the heat, were they looking to do a propane generator too, or keep that?
You know, a great question. Believe it or not, that did come up, and if I recall the conversation correctly, you cannot have a propane generator. It's got there was quite a bit of debate because I think of the code says it can't be propane.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious.
But I'll follow up. That was a good question, and they did debate about that. But they were going to have to check the code before they had a final answer on that.
The deputy chief's nodding in agreement.
I'm not sure, I gotta check with the fire marshal, I'll ask him. Oh, Jimmy, sorry, wrong deputy chief.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a requirement by the state of Connecticut for all 911 answering centers that do the generator.
Thank you,
It
guys.
has to do with the way the fuel interacts and the reliability.
All right. Thank you very much. I know we'll be talking a little bit more about that in executive session today. All right. On to 7I, Public Safety Communications Subcommittee.
There's no meeting, but we might have more information after the police commission meeting, some of those folks. I know that one thing, I did talk to the deputy chief, we still don't have the fiber up yet, which is upsetting.
Okay. What's the delay on that?
Don't have the
Fiber.
yet. Fiber optics.
Let's look into what the delay is on that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to find out. on
Okay,
that.
thank you. Thank you, Counselor Diamond. All right, moving right along. Let's see where we are right now. We at 7?
Few minutes,
I guess we can keep going here, and we'll move back to 7:30 for our public hearing. We're going to skip ahead from that. We're going to hit item 8, Town Manager Report. Are you okay if we start the Town Manager Report? Why don't we let that finish to go to completion, and then we'll come back to the public hearing?
Sure, I'll talk
Okay.
real fast.
All right, yeah, cool. We like that.
Highlights, the trend is still a downward trend, which is good news. If I could point you to the North Branford slide, which I think is 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 slides in, you can see the weekly numbers and monthly numbers side by side there, so that January 5th, the week of January 5th, we had 209 cases. We peaked on January 12th for 256 cases, and then we're trending downward, 157 January 19th, 128 for January 24th. So overall, December's numbers were 318. We climbed all the way to 750 in January, but as I said, we peaked as of this point January 12th, and we're retreating in terms of those numbers significantly. So another call, of course, will be had on Thursday morning to see where we're at. Positivity rate was as high as, I believe it was 24 for us during that peak. Our vaccination rates have climbed to 82% initial and 75.6% fully vaccinated. So we continue to do that. In terms of vaccination boosters and information out there, unfortunately sad to report 2 deaths for January. We have additional N95 masks. We've promoted a notice on the website, put on the doors that individuals can come here while supplies last for N95 masks. So we have those. And again, I'll continue to monitor. I know that the state, the governor's statistics statewide positivity is 8.68. Ours obviously was weeks behind in terms of lagging, so I don't expect that our positivity still remains that high. So we'll have another update on Thursday. I'll pass that along. But again, the trend is in the right direction.
Great.
Mike, do you have the numbers of the 2 people, I mean, how old the 2 people were that passed away, unfortunately?
I have one that was 87-year-old male, and the second one I don't have yet.
Thank you.
And I just have has the question come up in your weekly meetings, what about people that do the home test to see if they're positive or not? Does that get reported?
Yeah, it's not
Very
reported.
seldom.
There's no, my understanding is there's no mechanism by which those numbers are entered into
Okay.
any type of database. And
Yeah.
I can ask again tomorrow if that's
No, I mean,
if
that's fine.
changed,
I mean,
but,
if
yeah.
it's not, so our rate, or most rates are probably higher than
Yeah.
what is reported because,
I mean, that was a substantial
You
spike.
consider 5 to 10% in that during that spike higher because there's people that asymptomatic that don't ever even get put into that into those
well,
numbers.
first you couldn't get a test
Of course.
for weeks,
For
I mean, for
weeks,
days and days, and test results were long.
Absolutely.
And even doing the home test, you would just take it, and if you were
Sure.
positive, I mean,
You just kind of did your thing, yeah.
right.
So it
With
was
with the new variant too, if so many people equated it to
Like a
being a
cold.
bad cold.
yeah.
I know people I work with that were like, yeah, I didn't have it, but I had a bad cold, and they started going through the symptoms. I'm like, those are all the symptoms.
Yeah.
Like, they never
Yeah.
went and got tested or anything.
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty high, but let's hope that that is a gift from God that maybe people have some protection from it, natural immunity from it now, and wasn't. Of course, we have our condolences to the people that lost loved ones, both now and in the past. But hopefully, this is nearing some completion. We can go on to the normal life. So let's hope that's the case. Michael, do you want to finish out, and then we'll go into the public hearing?
Yeah, real quick on item B is I wanted to give the council a heads up that we've gone through the sort of review and presentations of website design. So I've pulled together Anthony and Dennis and myself to work on designing and putting together a draft for what I hope will be a RFQP design, much like what we did for the human resources consultant salary study. So I'm hoping that I can pull it together and have it ready for the next meeting on the 15th. And that was it. It's a work in progress, so
Okay.
working on it.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to put a quick pause on our regularly scheduled meeting here, and we're going to continue the public hearing for the proposed ordinance of 2022-1 entitled an ordinance to regulate pocket bikes, mini bikes, dirt bikes, all-terrain vehicles, and the like. At this time, I'll ask, is there anyone that would like to have public comment? If there is, we ask that there's some brevity to the comment, 3 minutes for that particular comment, and we're going to take those comments into consideration when we deliberate amongst the council during our executive sessions in the future here. Okay, seeing that there's no comments, we certainly, for those that are out in the cybersphere and want to send any letters in, emails, anything to that capacity, we're happy to, certainly take those comments into account, and we'll review them with the other comments that we've received. We're taking this ordinance very seriously and something that we want to make sure we get right with the town. There's been some great suggestions that we're going to take into consideration when we are putting this together, and we plan to have these conversations and come back in a, very near future meeting to take a vote on it. So we'll,
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Mayor,
Please.
just additional correspondence that came in from outside agencies, and
Please.
I don't know if it's at your desk or not, but I certainly have copies from the Regional Water Authority and the Guilford Land Trust,
Yeah,
also
sure.
weighing in on that.
essentially, these are very positive responses from both of these entities that are happy to see this ordinance coming into place. Okay.
So as a matter of process, I think, if there's no other, you did purposely leave open the
Yeah.
the comment period, public hearing, so that last time being virtual, this time being here in person to give
correct.
people opportunity. But I did place it on the agenda for possible action if the council was ready to, after they close the hearing.
Yeah, we will close the hearing for now, or the,
Well, are we closing, we're going to officially close the hearing then?
well, I think we'll probably we'll look towards making some comments amongst ourselves within executive
Yeah,
session.
well, no,
No,
I
that's
think
not
you can just
executive session.
Do that in
Oh, you're right.
deliberation.
Okay,
deliberation, just
deliberation,
close
okay.
the hearing, and then you're free to take it up.
Yeah, so you close the hearing now.
And we'll
then that's-
deliberate thereafter.
And then on the agenda, when it comes up on the agenda, yeah, that's
Yeah.
when we,
Next meeting we'll put it on the.
well, it's on this
Oh,
one.
do we have
so
it on
this one?
Where are we?
It's 13A.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, absolutely.
But if we rather do it
Yeah.
next time, we can just take
Yeah.
it over next.
Yeah, I'd like to take time to, to take
Yeah.
in those comments, read through them, come up with some other, probably some ideas how to further adapt the ordinance.
It was, Mr. Mayor, placed on here to give you the most flexibility. So I think what you might want to do when you get to 13A is just consider maybe some housekeeping issues. And I have one of which I can point out, very minor
Sure.
one. And then that will give you food for thought. If you're ready tonight, you can debate till as long as you want or continue on for the next meeting. But that's just my suggestion.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. Is there something you want to have held up until next meeting so that you could read all the written reports? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I thought it would make sense for us to have a conversation give you time to read through comments that maybe were going to come in tonight. We haven't had any comments tonight, and Anthony, is there anything coming in from Facebook or any other areas?
Negative.
Okay. I'm fine with having the conversation tonight. You want to do that?
Yeah, we can start it, and,
Start it.
Whatever discussion we have tonight, and if there's things that we want to change to the ordinance and make adjustments to,
We'll move forward.
we wouldn't vote on it tonight anyway, because those would have to be, anything that we wanted to change would have to be incorporated into the ordinance, and then that would have to come back to us so that
Correct.
we can see exactly how it reads
I
on
underst-
there.
I understand that. I was just wondering if the mayor wanted motion to table it until the next regular scheduled meeting, so we do have time to discuss it. And if we want to amend it, we can make the amendments and then vote on the next one.
Yeah,
Instead of
we-
rushing through all of these, well, I have a whole stack of letters here.
Yeah, well, we're not
Yeah.
to that item yet
Yeah.
on the agenda, so,
Yeah, we'll go.
so we have to close the
We'll close
public.
the public ordinance or public hearing portion of it, and then we will likely do during 13 have a conversation at the policy table for the future meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to close the public hearing. Do I have to give a time on that?
Yeah.
As of 7:36 p.m. Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. We need a motion on that?
No, you just close it.
Raise your hand. Very close. Okay, great. All right, we're going to carry on with our regular scheduled meeting. Agenda item 9, community events and presentations.
We have none.
Okay. 10, citizen statements and petitions for correspondence. Mr. Potter, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
Happy Monday or Tuesday.
I love my new mask. It hides all my double chin.
Oh, there you go. I had to get one of those from you.
I didn't feel appropriate during the open hearing because it really isn't just that. I'd like to talk to you. I've been corresponding with Senator Cohen. She's got a re-election, and you can stop me if I go out of bounds, because I'm trying to make her aware of the lack of quality of life we're having in general in all areas because of the justice problems where the teenagers can do what they do and they're not handled. And I said, in your reelection literature, you don't address that. You talk about all the recycling and stuff you did well. And she says, well, I'm not hearing it. So I've been feeding her, and we have a good dialogue. I became a personal friend with her during the tolls, and so we have mutual respect. But I don't know if a letter would come from you guys, and it's happening, and the chief, he sees it firsthand. There's just, they've made the Democratic Party, and this is a procedural concern, not a party who's who. The handcuffing they did to our police has caused the violators not to fear the police anymore. So our quality of life is, I won't let my wife go out of town alone. I'll drive her, because I'm afraid she's a target for a woman alone in a car at night is a target of these people. It's a known fact. So
What people? I'm sorry, can I ask?
what?
Which people?
Well, there was a woman in North Haven a couple Saturdays ago gassing her car up.
Mm-hmm.
A car full of teenagers pulled up, stole her car, yanked her right out of it, and stole her car. I mean,
Okay.
there's so many instances. But yet, I don't feel the party in control is going to address them. And so we need strong letters or advice from, you all see it, or am I the only one seeing it? Let me ask, and I won't put you on the spot. I'm concerned for the safety of our citizens in this town. And until they fix the broken justice system, and it relates kind of to the ATV slightly, she and Vin supposedly worked hand in hand on the ATV situation. Is that right, Mike? I believe they did?
If you say so, I don't know that. I
Okay,
don't
well,
know
she
the
says
details.
she did, and I'll take her word for it. But I think the bigger picture is that nobody fears authority anymore because the legislation passed makes them untouchable. So I didn't know if you would consider, because she says, well, I'm not hearing it. And it's not in her reelection, even a mention of it. I called her on that. And if you're going to represent us, luckily Anthony's not going to be represented, he says, anymore by her because of the district change. I think if she's going to represent us, along with Vin, and Vinny's always, and they both have come here in the past, I think you've got to discuss it, maybe in an executive session sometimes, and decide if you need a policy statement. Do you see this happening in this town? Do you see it happening in the surrounding towns? I sure do. I hate it. So we've adjusted our lives because my wife could be affected by it, and there's just no regard for personal safety. What, a 70-year-old guy in Hampton the other night got bumped on the head because he was walking his dog. He was ready to go back in his house, and they whacked him on the head. A woman at ShopRite in Hampton got whacked on the head, alone, 69 years old, shopping, just trying to put food in her car. So it's blatant, but some people don't seem to see it. And I think that ties into the big picture of what we're having going on in our own town, a complete lack and disrespect of authority. So it's got to start at the top, Hartford, and they were supposed to straighten it out, and they didn't. They were supposed to meet in special session. And now I'm hoping that they will address it this year at least. But if you guys generated a letter, if you're agreeable to it, and I think it would help, because if you pull up her speech, nothing's in there about it. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt. So again, if you could help me help her see how bad it is, maybe they'll push the Democrats to straighten out the mess, because they have the majority. It's got to stop. The average working American citizen has lost quality of life. They're forced to go out into public at certain times of day and do things, and that's when they're set up for these crimes. And I could go on and on. They come out every day on the internet, unfortunately, and they're local. Thank God well, yes, somebody's been killed. There was a jogger up in Glastonbury that was killed, or New Britain. Innocent jogger in the middle of the day, and a kid in a stolen car took him out. So if something you could come up with, thank you, I'd appreciate it.
Well, we certainly appreciate your thoughts and your comments, and we'll certainly take those into consideration. I think it's
Okay.
important.
Yeah, I'm just not picking on Senator Cohen. I want you to see that.
Mr. Potter, I appreciate it. I see where you're coming from. I've heard myself from several citizens with similar statements. I think that if we have these concerns, it's our responsibility as citizens to bring those attentions and write letters and contact our local leaders to make sure they're aware of this. I think that this is a personal feeling, but there needs to be a revisit of the police accountability bill that she voted for.
Yeah.
So there's some areas there where, unfortunately, I do believe that we've weakened some of our ability to control the masses, per
Yes,
se.
because it's got to, if they're not afraid of authority, they're not afraid of anything.
Correct.
So, thank you. And she does have a survey you can fill out on her reelection Facebook page.
Thank you for that knowledge.
Thanks.
And again, encourage the citizens, if it's important to you, to look at that survey and
Cliff.
provide your,
Cliff,
give me a moment, and provide your feedback on that. Councilor Good.
Cliff, Walter Gold, I'd like to say thank you for what you just said there. I do appreciate it, and I think we're really lucky in this town, the police force we have, and I think we're safe here, but surrounding towns, I mean, like, you don't mean to name towns, but I know Hampton's got a huge issue with that stuff, and we all see what's going on nationally, and it's spreading and getting worse and worse.
I worry about our nest, our chickens in our nest here
So
first.
we're very lucky, but I do appreciate what you said there. Thank you.
And you've got to be super aware of your surroundings. And yeah, it's you got to lock your car now just when you fill up with gas, because as you're getting out, the kid's getting in the other side. So there's so many things that are happening, and they're not being acknowledged at the right levels.
I
Thank
think
you.
we're lucky where we live right now.
Yes,
If I
so
could just-
far.
Thank you.
But
If I
how
could just
long
say
can our
something
luck run?
really quick, working for the courts as I do, nobody sees it more than I do, or frontline law enforcement. It's a real issue. Unfortunately, when you said that she told you she's not hearing it, if your ears aren't open, you're not going to hear it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't have their ears open right now. So I would encourage anybody watching this, listening to it, that agrees with us, to write letters, because unless it's an overwhelming response, their
Yes.
ears will not
Because
open.
it's an election year. We'll go for open ears. Well, I mean, and I've listened to talk shows, the computer system doesn't, they're back in school at 8 o'clock in the morning. They just stole your car at 2 o'clock in the morning, stashed in the woods someplace, and they're back in school. Am I right?
Absolutely.
It's sad. I can't live with that. I'm sorry.
No, it's important.
Thank you.
Food for thought. Thank you, Mr. Potter. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you, Counselor, for your thoughts as well. I appreciate that. And Deputy Chief, thank you for all you do. We know you guys work very hard to keep this town safe, and it's certainly appreciated by this board and our citizens. Okay, I'm going to move on from this to item 11, resignations and appointments. I will accept a motion for the appointment of Victoria Lanza for the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Mace, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion?
I would just mention that there is a resume, a bio that was provided to the town council.
And we all read through that. We're very impressed and excited to have Victoria here tonight. Thank you, and we look forward to the wonderful work you're going to do. So let's quickly go to a vote.
If I could.
Oh, please, yeah, Counselor.
I just think for the benefit of people watching who don't have that, maybe if you could say a little bit about Victoria, just so people know.
Victoria has been a lifelong resident of Northford. She's a parent of 3 children in our school system. She has a bachelor's degree in early child ed. She has a number of other certificates in the area of early childhood. I think she's an active member of the community. She's active on PTO boards, Girl Scout leader. She's received a number of awards. I think that she's definitely going to be a wonderful asset to the Board of Education.
Great. Okay. Any other comments? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Shall pass. Victoria, congratulations. Welcome to the Board of Education. It's sure you're going to do a great job. Good luck.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just a reminder, you'll just need to be sworn in by the town clerk.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I believe there is, we're going to kind of go out of order here. We're going to go, I believe there's a resignation as seen fit as 11B for Cynthia Rice on the Board of Education. I don't believe we need a motion for that, except the resignation, but I would like to thank Cynthia for all she's done for the Board of Education. I know things have changed with her work hours, but she's put a tremendous amount of time and effort into the Board of Education, so I would like to thank her for that time and effort and energy and knowledge she's provided, and our Board of Education is top-notch, so thank you for the service that you provided to our town. We wish you the best going forward. And then item 11C, I would accept a motion for the appointment of Kim Dawson, Board of Education.
So moved.
Motion by Counselor Mace,
Second.
second by Counselor Angeloni. Counselor Angeloni, if you would.
I just have a question first for the town attorney. So Kim Dawson currently is on economic development, which she is resigning from so that she can be appointed to the Board of Education. She was out of town. She's returning tonight and is submitting her letter of resignation tomorrow.
She did email, though.
She emailed her intention, but she needs to, it hasn't been formally accepted by the town clerk yet?
She's being appointed tonight.
Right, so can we appoint her?
Appoint her tonight, it doesn't take effect until she gets sworn in. So she can go, when she goes to get sworn in from the town clerk, hand in her resignation first, and then raise her hand and take the oath.
Okay, so we can go ahead with the appointment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Great. Do we have to adjust the appointment to stipulate as such?
No, because it just wouldn't, she wouldn't be able to hold the dual office,
Gotcha.
so she couldn't go into
Get
the second
sworn
one
in.
until she resigned from the first.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so so Kim Dawson currently serves on economic development. She was born and raised in North Branford. She moved away when she graduated from high school, but her and her husband decided to move back to Connecticut, and she decided the only place that she wanted to live was North Branford, where she was raised and grew up. She recently held a position working for the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce so that she could work closely within our community. She is a realtor and has done a lot of work with the EDC in her role also as being a real estate agent. But at this point in time, she sees the importance of a strong school system to keep our town desirable to our current and future residents. And that is why she is interested in moving from EDC to the Board of Education. So the motion has been made and seconded to appoint her to fill the vacancy created by Cynthia Rice.
Rose, thank you for that resume. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll go to, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passed. Congratulations, Kim. Thank you so much for your continued service to the town of North Branford. We look forward to you joining the Board of Education, and along with Victoria and the fine folks that are working on that end there, and seeing what things move forward. This town's got a lot going on with the Board of Education right now, so exciting time to be on the Board of Ed.
Plus, it's an important time in terms of budget, so it's good that we have
Absolutely.
people going on the board.
Absolutely. It's a good time to have everyone there, have a full board. Okay, I believe that finishes 11. We are going to move to agenda item 12, unfinished business, discussion and action. Sub A, review a proposed amendment for intermunicipal animal control agreement. Anything at all from Branford on this?
No, we're unsuccessful in getting a meeting yet, but we'll.
Okay. Let's try to get that before the next council meeting, if we can if we can push a little bit on that. I'd like to get that off of unfinished business if possible, and I can likewise make a few calls for that as well.
And also because we're coming up into budget season.
Exactly.
And so this has a
It's
big
going to be part of
effect.
the budget. Yeah, and there's some ideas as to hopefully levy that budget when it comes to an intermunicipal type of environment. So hopefully we can have that conversation, in the near future. Okay, item B, review and approval of a United Illuminating wireline agreement. Anything with that?
No,
Okay.
we're still waiting to hear back from UI.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Marino. And C, state reimbursement of NBHS project. This is tabled until May 22, so this will maintain unfinished business. Okay. Agenda item 13, new business discussion and action. A, proposed ordinance of 2022-1 and an ordinance to regulate pocket bikes, mini bikes, dirt bikes, all-terrain vehicles. We certainly can have some conversation, but likely I'd like to push this and table it to the future before we have a vote.
I'd like to table this motion for the ordinance till the next meeting so we can have a discussion and we could read all of these letters, pros and cons about our citizens' ideas and how they will affect the children in this town.
Okay, a motion to table by Councilor Mace.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilor Goad. Councilor Goad, second. Any discussion?
Couldn't we talk about a couple of things we think might or should be considered to change?
Well, and the other thing is the deputy chief is here, so if we had any
Right,
questions.
I think he's here for that reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to decide on anything
Right,
tonight.
but
It's
why
it's just,
don't
we're
we
still.
I agree.
We
I'd
can
like to have
discuss it, but we're not going to do anything until
Correct.
2 weeks.
No,
Correct.
but I'd
Correct.
like to discuss
Well,
it.
Yeah,
from
I
the table,
didn't
that's
say you
discussion.
couldn't discuss
It's the
it.
time to do it. All right, so let's have a conversation.
For example, I would like to
Councilor Dunn?
consider two things, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. One is the thing about private property,
Mhm.
at times, and the other thing is, I think, and I've heard from a lot of people, is that initial fee, the first fine, which is very high, and I've heard a lot of people ask about that. So those are two areas that I'm wondering if other people could think maybe we should consider changing.
I'm definitely in favor of changing the time restrictions for private property.
That's mine.
I think they should be taken out of there, and it should just go with the noise ordinance. Because we have the noise ordinance
For a reason, it's there.
to back it up, and I feel it's not our place to dictate a homeowner what they can do on their land. And we have the noise ordinance, so we do have some teeth in that. So I would definitely be in favor of eliminating time structures for private property on there.
I agree with that myself.
Yeah, I would also
And
agree.
the second part of that, I disagree with.
Okay, that's good.
No, I just want to say I disagree, and if the public is watching right now, I guess they're kind of finding out the rules, so they don't have to worry about what the fee is, because nobody's going to be breaking the law, right? And if we want, we can
It's
double
there as a
it.
deterrent.
We can double it,
The fee is the deterrent,
yeah,
Correct.
right.
so.
You're not going to have to worry about it if you don't break the law.
There's few things that can deter people. There's a no chase rule, obviously, which is, in place for good reason. But there's few things that will deter particular behavior, and that's why these fines are in place. We discussed, and I will continue to discuss amongst the board, I do feel strongly that any fine, I should say, that is issued, those monies will be utilized for the land trust and not as any general income for the town. So this is not going to be money that's going to be targeted to help build the police station or to build a school or whatever else the town is doing. Those monies, should we issue and receive, will be used to better the land trust, which is the very reason why we are looking towards this ordinance, along with life safety, obviously. So I think that's an important aspect, something that we should consider when improving upon the ordinance itself.
I just have a question for Deputy Chief. So Section 8 in here talks about the sale of gasoline for illegal purposes, and that, so I take it this is for gas station, or any place that sells gasoline, and it would just be in the town of North Branford, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does this get monitored, and what, who monitors this, and what's the recourse if they don't post these signs?
I don't have the 8A in front of me, so.
Oh, here, I have it up. It's,
$100.
it says that they had,
Chief, I have a hard copy.
I got one here, right,
got
thank
it?
you, I
Okay.
appreciate it, yeah. I
came from gymnastics, I'm sorry, I left it at work.
It's the whole thing about post,
Yeah.
they have to,
Well, it says that any violations of subsection A or B, then it's $100 per offense. So if they don't post it, that'll be a violation.
so
of
is it the
subsection.
police that enforces this? Is that,
Yeah, if it's not posted on the property, then we can go through, or you can have a zoning enforcement officer. I'm sure if you want to delegate that authority in the future, you can also do that. But
okay, so,
it's a town ordinance, so depending on how you want to, I believe zoning officer has that authority under
It would-
certain statutory ordinance
Did
authority.
we establish who is going to be the enforcement officer?
But for the most part, it
Yeah,
is
no.
us, yeah, the way the
Currently
ordinance is
written,
written.
it's
Yeah.
the police department, but we
Yeah.
can establish.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
You could extend that to the CEO if you'd like.
correct.
would that have to be stated in the ordinance?
It would.
Okay, all right, so, and I guess we would just kind of defer to the police department as far as, is this something you would want us to defer to the ZEO? Zoning enforcement officer, or is this something?
I think it's fine right now to leave it with us. I don't see it as an issue for us because our officers on patrol, they're in and out of these gas stations, so they're going to notice whether or not it's been posted. And if we see people fueling up, that's their responsibility to shut off those pumps. They all have mechanisms inside their gas stations where they can stop fueling. That's if the fuel spills or there's safety reasons there. So there's ways for them to control those pumps as well.
Okay, so then is the police department taking on the education of this ordinance if it passes and this is in here, as far as letting all of the gas stations know and?
Yeah,
how this works?
typically what we do is we type something up and then we'd go deliver it even before the ordinance becomes
Actual.
enacted. So we can have that conversation with them. We can
Okay.
sit down, explain it, we can answer questions. We wouldn't just enact it and then start slapping fines. So that's not fair. So we probably have to give them some time to make these signs, right? Instead, we don't want handwritten things that nobody can read. But we'd also suggest in dual language as well, so it's not just in English, but also probably in Spanish as well, so.
Yes, well, I see that's in the ordinance
Yeah.
here.
So this is gonna take some time. It's not like an overnight thing where it just goes into effect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a conversation.
There should be a learning
And that's
period.
part of the ordinance process anyway. I mean, this is really.
Well, it's 21 days, I believe, after
Well,
it's,
I was going to say,
From
what
the
you
set
can
date.
do, you could set an effective date for
Oh.
whatever you want. So if you feel we need, I was going to say, well, how long do you think we need from an effective date standpoint for this to be in effect? So should we put it out 3 or 4 months so that you have enough time to educate?
I don't think it'll take us more than 30 days to educate. number.
so I believe it doesn't go into effect for 21 days after it's voted on,
Unless you
correct?
set it a later date.
Correct.
Right.
So we could just add, if you want to go 45 days, 30 days, whatever, you can let us know.
Yeah.
On that
Yeah.
piece.
I'll have a
and
talk
we-
with the chief to confirm
Okay.
with him, but yeah.
And then we can
This should be a problem.
make sure that we get that into the ordinance
Yeah.
also. So,
Sounds
okay,
good.
all right.
And the reason the noise ordinance came in is we were modeling other surrounding towns that had the same things. That's why we're trying to keep it uniform is really the way it goes, but that's where those times came in, just to clarify for
Okay.
the public out
So,
there.
Counselor
Just
Ableton?
just to clarify, you're gonna require the gas stations to create their own signs. Are you gonna, but are the police going to submit to them, what they have to make?
Yeah, it's in the ordinance.
Yeah.
The
Is
the
there a
wording,
Is there specifications for the signs? Like
Yeah,
how
the
big they have to
verbiage is
be,
in
where
there.
they have to be posted?
Just the language.
I believe it's just the language.
So you have nothing in there on like how they have to post it?
I'm looking.
it does say in here,
So if you're gonna do
It's
that,
an
you're gonna have to
eight-page
tell them.
document, huh?
If you're gonna do that,
Yep.
Well, it's got to be at least 1 inch in height.
One inch,
Yeah.
it's in letters, it's in there.
at all dispensing locations, the location
Okay. Yeah.
of warning signs shall be based on local
Got it.
conditions, but shall be visible and legible from all gas pumps.
okay?
So if you're
So-
talking specific materials to make the signs and stuff like that, I mean, that's something you want in there, but no, we didn't list that.
I don't think that's necessary. I think they can figure that out.
So,
they're gonna make it big enough they don't get a fine, right? They're gonna make it big enough so
They
everybody notices
have to
it.
understand that you're requiring them to make this, so I see that it's in there and here it is, so they just have to be aware that.
Yeah, it has to be visible though.
Yeah, I mean, that's something normally we do, the business owners are stakeholders, right, in the community, right? They have a
Yes,
voice.
they are.
We recognize that, and that's why I said 30 days is probably a good enough time for, there's not, we don't have 400 gas stations to go to. But we'll type something up and we'll go there and probably be the chief and myself, or myself, and we'll go there, we'll have a conversation with the owners and make sure they're aware and they understand what that subsections apply to them, why they apply to them, and then if there's any other feedback that we need to bring back to the council that they disagree with, then we'll bring that back and we can deal with that as it goes, but.
I would just suggest giving them more than 30 days. How long are you gonna give them to get the signs? They're gonna need more than 30 days, no?
I don't believe that it would take more than 30 days to make a sign like that, but if that's something that we need to do, then we can make an accommodations on our end, so.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think, a section here that says a written warning is also an option, not just the fine, so.
Okay, that's fair.
I guess the only way you can enforce it is if you actually see one of these all-terrain vehicles driving up to a gas station. However, they could go with a gas can, fill it up like they were gonna fill up gas in their lawnmower or their snow blower and get gas that way.
Of course.
there, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can have the vehicle could be in the bed of your pickup truck, and that wouldn't be part of the ordinance, I'm assuming.
I've seen this at a number of gas stations in town where the vehicles pull up, they
Yeah.
sit on them while they're riding, while they're still running. They put it in, and they pump gas, and then if we go to approach them, they just hang it up and right out the parking lot, and away they go. So that's kind of the reason why it's in there, so.
Yeah, I see it
This is for-
as a way to help keep them off the roads.
Yeah.
So if they want to go and get a gas tank and bring it back to their home and fuel it up, that's another way to abide by the ordinance, so.
Yeah. We're having it in a trailer, it's using it as a vehicle, driving up to the pump, and gassing as you would any other passenger vehicle, commercial vehicle.
So what you're saying is if somebody has it on the back of their pickup truck or trailer and it's off and they gas it up, that's not a violation of the ordinance?
That's my understanding.
No, it's
No.
specifically riding up
Yeah.
there and.
This is for life safety reasons.
Now, if they're
Yeah.
trailing it, obviously, they could be taking it to lawfully use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
the right way,
off-road,
the right
so-
way.
Yeah. It's not meant to be egregious, it's meant to be, it's a smart ordinance, it's applicable.
I hope we don't have to write any fines. I mean, that's our
Yeah.
real goal. I mean, that's why we started talking about this back in October. This is to get the word out, this is where we're at, so. Hopefully we just get compliance and people do it and operate the way they should, so.
Brian, how many gas stations do we have in North Branford and Norfolk, do we know?
I mean, I can think of
10 maybe?
3, 4, 5.
We have, yeah, just about 10.
There's 6 on 8.
7 or 8, I can think
So
of myself.
there's about 8 total in town.
8, yeah.
Yeah, so 30 days, I think, Rose suggesting 30 days, that should be, you only have 8 gas stations, they should be
Yeah,
able
you
to
can
get
get
it
a-
done in 30 days.
Small sign printed relatively quickly. As Deputy Chief indicated, there is the option for a warning, which basically says, hey, get this done. You can make a sign. There's, the reason it likely wasn't, so stringent to have specific materials for the sign, that if you need to make a sign quickly, you can make a sign relatively quickly and post that sign.
Yep.
We're not looking to penalize these businesses. We're looking, that's not the purpose of this ordinance.
They're
whatsoever.
helping us, basically, right?
Yeah, they are
Businesses
very
are
much
helping
so.
us.
Yeah, this isn't a penal situation.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Deputy
Thank you,
Chief,
Chief.
appreciate it. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a question for council. What I heard is you wanted me to alter the language with respect to private property. Do you want to delete all language with respect to private property? And then if there's a complaint, it'll be under your noise ordinance? Because right now, as styled, it regulates the use of these vehicles on public and private property. And with respect to private property, you're still prohibiting any, no person shall operate or cause to be operated a recreational vehicle without the permission of the owner. Do you want to keep that in there?
Yes,
Yes.
their private property or express permission. We're not looking to tell people what to do on their lawns, but if someone gives you express permission to be on their private property, you can do as long as it follows the noise ordinance.
That's part of the state statute as as well. So
Yeah, I just wanted
Yeah.
to make, just because they raised it, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
You know, clarify, it says written permission,
No, but in the future, if we
According
did,
to-
that's what we.
3C.
Do we need written
It is
permission, or
written,
do we want
set down as
verbal?
written.
It's written permission, not just verbal.
I think
makes
written's
sense.
important
Yeah.
because for the officers that may encounter them and stop them, that's the only way for them to actually verify on scene that they have the permission.
It likewise would also, if there was ever some type of, you know,
Accident.
accident took place, you have that written permission, it's due diligence, a paper trail.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's only written permission if the owner is not a participant,
Right,
right? So
Correct.
if they're riding with the owner, then you don't need the written permission.
okay, yeah, because you only can verify verbally.
Same with hunting laws on
Yeah,
private
hunting, you
property.
have to have something with you if you're on somebody's
Exact same with
property.
hunting laws,
Yeah, yeah.
crop control, things like that. This is an ordinance, it's a sensible ordinance. All right, any other questions? Deputy Chief, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so seeing that there's no other discussion, we have looked to table this. We're going to, once everything gets updated, we'll look to vote in the next meeting for this. So we have I believe it was motioned by
By me.
Councilor
Second
Mace,
by Rose, right?
seconded
Yes.
by Councilor Angeloni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So passed. We'll move it to the table. Okay, on to new business discussion and action. Approval of collective bargaining agreement with Library Local 1303-99, Council 4, AFC-SCME.
Yeah, I think we could probably skip over that until we get through executive session, then leave it and come back to it.
Okay. You okay with that? We don't need a motion to skip over that,
No,
correct?
just skip right
we'll
over.
just come back.
All right, we'll move on to 14 citizen statements and petitions. Mr. Potter? Again,
Part two.
okay. We're going to ask, again, always ask, and again, keep it, some brevity to it for the
Yep.
respect of the council. I appreciate that.
What I wanted to bring up is what our town's about. Now, I don't know how many of you saw the Facebook, but look what happened behind the school Sunday. And Ron, you were there, so families got together, they had a great time. One mom went out and bought two bags full of food for the kids.
50 cheeseburgers.
So this town gets it. We care about each other. And it was just impromptu, good people, having good, clean fun, sliding on the hill behind the school. But it was amazing. This woman stepped up, saw the kids were hungry, used her own money to buy food for the kids. So what there was, I wasn't there, so you've got to help me. But I read the thing, and I emailed her later, said, you invested in our town.
I should have.
Yeah, so it was fun, and I was a part of it, a small part of it, but my son's basketball team had 2 games canceled that day, so we all decided to, the whole
Yeah.
team get together, and we brought hot cocoa. We brought enough hot cocoa for everybody that was there.
Yeah.
Hot apple cider, food, we had music playing, parents were hanging out, and Abby Allen, she's probably going to
Yeah,
kill me for
I
saying her
wasn't
name.
going to mention her name, but yeah.
But she's a sweetheart. She's one of the moms on the team. She ran out and bought cheeseburgers for all the kids and stuff like that. And it was a beautiful day. It was a very special day and a proud day to be part of the community.
This is what it's about. That's why I tell you, I love it. It wasn't preempted. It was just our residents caring for each other.
That's cool.
It wasn't, hey, I'm going to come back and I'm going to charge each kid $1. The woman took it out. She invested in the future of our town at no cost to any of us. But the goodwill, you can never erase it. And that's what we got to see more of. Now, that was what I wanted to comment on, but getting back to the dog thing, how about a nice little letter from this gentleman here showing Branford we're sincere. We really want to get this straightened out. We're paying for something we have no say in. And Cosgrove's going to drag his feet as long as he can because he's under no pressure. But maybe a nicely worded letter by this gentleman here showing that, hey, we want some action, would move it a little faster.
Okay.
Just a thought.
No, it's a good thought. We appreciate your thoughts. We'll certainly
Thanks.
take them into consideration. Mr. Potter, thank you for your time and your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, any other citizen statements? Seeing none, we'll move on to executive session. I'll take a motion as you go into executive session.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Mace. Second by Councilman Pilicia.
Well, you have to include,
I'm going to include the town attorney and the town manager,
Town attorney.
And my partner, Courtney George.
and partner as well, and
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing we gotta figure out, because I think we want Anthony for the collective bargaining.
we can do that first when we get
yeah,
into
we
it.
can do that first. Anthony, do you mind staying for that? Okay.
Now I'm coming at 11:30.
Okay. Victoria, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Do a great job there. Okay, so I think we have a second and a motion.
We
A
need a
second.
moment to shut down and
Yep.
Well,
I just-
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Go.
What time is it?